Hey, I'm gonna try this again. Hopefully it doesn't go crooked this time. I'm Karen Foote. I'm from Rebalance Reiki and Massage in Westwood, and I just tried this a minute ago and it went sideways, so hopefully it's not going to do that again. I've just felt compelled to share some stories about the recent loss of my mom. Basically, Spirit pushes me to do this because I don't really want to, but it's just become such an overwhelming push that I need to share this, so I have to listen. My mom died in August of this year, and it's been almost 4 months, but for some reason this week has been a really hard week for me. I woke up on Monday morning ready to be motivated and go meditate and read and exercise and do what I, want to do for myself, for self-care. But I woke up angry and frustrated and wanted to rebel against myself, and was really just pissed off that I couldn't fall back asleep. And I just was angry and not myself, and kind of self-sabotaging, and then mad at myself for self-sabotaging. And then I wasn't able to fall back asleep, so I just decided to give myself some Reiki, because I was like, well, what else am I gonna do? And I ended up pushing through the anger and frustration, and the Reiki just kind of bubbled all that out of me, and instead came tears. And I just cried and cried and cried and was totally sad and just really feeling the loss of my mom. And it was terrible. Actually, it wasn't the most fun, but it just felt, I just wanted to share the course of the days from this week, because it's just been not the most fun, but also very good too, because we need to feel our feelings. And I don't know why this week triggered anything. It wasn't Thanksgiving, it wasn't her birthday, it wasn't anything that just happened recently. It just kind of happened. So that was rough. It was rough on Monday. So I kind of was near tears all day, and then I even crawled into bed at 4:30 in the afternoon, which is totally not like me. And I don't have depression ever, so it's foreign to me to feel depressed. And then my younger son got sick with vertigo the next day, and then that was really worrisome. So I was worried about that and crying just about the delicate nature of our lives and our loved ones. And it was just a crazy week for me. I don't know what the heck. I know that there's stuff going on astrologically that might help explain it, but because I went and read back on, if you guys listen to or follow Elizabeth Peru, she does astrology forecasts based on her energy intuition of the planets. It's not like casting charts, it's a little different, but I went and read her stuff and it totally made sense for what I was feeling. But anyway, so yesterday morning I woke up and didn't want to totally be a slouch, but at the same time I wasn't up for exercising, so I actually went back to bed at 5:30. And before I went to bed, I was meditating, and I asked my mom just to be there and help me out or whatever, and calling on my angels and just feeling like I'm putting the shout out for help, please guys, And I went back to bed, and she had a dream visit with her, which was really awesome. And in the dream, and I know it wasn't a dream, I know it was a visit, I went over to her and hugged her, and she looked like her version of herself from when I was younger, 1980s, 1990s. And I just cried like a little kid, in her chest, just wept. And she called me her nickname for me, which was Googie Ann. My middle name is Ann, and she'd call me Googie because it's a baby name. She was like, Googie Ann, because in the dream I saw her. I'm like, there you are, Mom, I've been looking for you, because it'd been a while since she had shown up in a dream for me. She showed up many times already, so I can't begrudge her, but she did show up in this dream because I was really jonesing a visit, and I was so happy she came through. And she, was wearing her 1980s kind of clothes, like a button down short sleeve shirt with the collar, and she wasn't in her wheelchair. She was healthy, and it was just really nice to kind of see her and hug her again. And in the dream I was crying, and I heard myself awake crying. My physical self heard myself crying. It was weird, but nice. Thank you, Paris. And so that was cool. But then I have a client who is very clairvoyant, and I was working on her yesterday, and we're very good friends at this point. And I had to like shut my mouth because I didn't want to like interrupt her session and want to tell her about this dream with my mom, because I was like, right, you know, let her, she's a paying client, like let her get her session. So after I kept thinking about telling her, and I was like, no, don't tell her. Then she's like, Karen, I have to tell you this. Your mom is like right here. And she like pointed to her left. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've been wanting to tell you this story about my mom. And she described the clothes that my mom was in, which was like the clothes of my dream of her, which was really cool. And she was just saying, I just love her. She's great. I just love her. And I was like, oh, my mom. That's my mom. Me and her were always so close. So it was very nice. And then I went to a meditation with Reiki last night at a salt cave in Chestnut Ridge. It's called the Salt Breeze. And when we first walked in the room, the girl beside me is like, did you come here with your mom? And I was like, oh no, I came alone. But then during like the time of the meditation, I start crying because I'm thinking like, yeah, I did come here with my mom. Like she's always with me. So it was really nice. So, you know, my mom was sick with an autoimmune disease for 15 years, since the end of 2002. So her, you know, my whole adult life was knowing her as disabled and compromised, even though she was still herself most of the time. It still was overshadowing who she was. So this whole week has been like remembering like the basis of our relationship and our history. And we always were so corny and close. It was very nice. So I don't know. It was important that I share this. And then I felt like I should share some other signs that I've had with her since she passed. And she passed when I was in Europe. And while we were there, we came across 3 American pennies in the course of our time there. So that was, to me, okay. At the 3rd one, I was like, I think that's my mom's thing. Like my grandma was dimes, my husband's grandma is quarters. So, but before she died, my kids, they knew she was dying. She said goodbye to them. And before, like on the way home from the hospital that day, they're like, what's going to be Nana's sign? What's going to be Nana's sign? Which coin is she going to be? I'm like, I don't know. It's up for Nana. I said, there's nickels and pennies left, so maybe she'll be one of them. And so she was, pennies was a thing. So my dad finds pennies all the time. On my mom's birthday, he was teaching a class and mentioned how it was his wife's birthday and telling a story from their past. And at the end of the class, and he was leaving the classroom, he looked down and there was a penny, like right at the entrance. So that's like so awesome and super comforting. And also, I like made myself notes so I wouldn't totally go off track. Oh yeah, the glasses. We were piling up all her things to donate, and she had lots of pairs of glasses. So I have yet to actually drop them off in one of those Lions Club boxes, but they're sitting under my desk at home. And one day, I had brought a pair of glasses with me to get read in our psychic class that I hosted, so someone could read the energy from her glasses and give a message about it. And so they were out, but they were in one spot, and then later on, I don't know, later that week or something, there was a pair of glasses just sitting under my desk, like not even in the case, just on the floor, like one pair of glasses just there. So that was a pretty cool magical stuff where she's doing like physical magic. Another thing she did was unplug. I have a table warmer here in my massage room, so I unplug it before I leave. And I went to unplug it the one day, and I know I didn't unplug it yet, but it was already unplugged, and the table was still hot. And I was like, okay, that's weird, but I'll take that, you know. And then later on, and I figured it was a sign from my mom, but I didn't, you know, how am I really gonna know? And then when I got back to the room later that night or the next day, the plug was like, I don't know, 6 inches away from where it was, like in the middle of the floor all by itself. So that was like an explanation point to her being like, yeah, that was me. So, and another thing was when the whole process of her wake and stuff, my sister, and I was in Europe, my sister connected to the song Take Me Home from like Phil Collins from the 80s. And that became a thing for her and for me, but mostly for her. And she would hear it a lot. And then when I got home from Europe, I was on the way to my parents' house for the first time. And I was like, Mom, just give me a sign, like a bold sign, like right now. And then my husband started flipping through the radio, and Take Me Home was on. And I was like, keep it on. He's like, what? Like this song? I'm like, no, it has meaning. So you know, normally I wouldn't stop at Phil Collins, but that day it was important. I'm like, that was fast. It was like within 10 seconds, she was awesome. So, and I'm looking for, I'm always wanting some more like big and bold signs from her. And my friend also yesterday, she said that there's something about cookies and your mom with cookies. And if anyone knows my mom, she was a home ec teacher, and everyone's favorite recipe from her was like her chocolate chip cookies and stuff. But I think for me particularly, it was about her sugar cookie recipe, because I altered her recipe and I think it's better. And then I have another friend who I was showing her the cookies. I'm like, oh, these cookies are good, but they're even better than my mom's. And my friend also is pretty hooked in, and she said they're different, not better. And that's exactly how my mom would have said it. So it was really fun. But yeah, so I just wanted to acknowledge my mom's passing and the way it's been affecting me. And really, I grieved before her passing. Like the whole month of July, I was in anticipation of it, and I cried my eyes out many, many times. And then after she passed, I was just so happy for her that I didn't feel sad. And there's like a weird void and all that, but it felt weird, but I wasn't crying. And for some reason, this week has just been the week of tears. So I just wanted to share that, because I don't know, I think it's part of what I need to do, is just to shine light on those things that are normally hidden or, you know, taboo or something. So I don't know. I think that's all for now. I just wanted to, I'm just looking and seeing if I wrote anything else down. But, you know, speak to your loved ones. They're listening. They're there. Sometimes we don't know it, but act as if they are, because they are. And take comfort in those dreams, because they're real, you know, especially if you just know a real visit from a fake one, or not a fake one, but from a dream. Like my dad's like, I had a dream about mom, but it was like a bad dream. It was like him helping her up after she fell or something. I'm like, that's not a visit. So, and actually, I was just thinking about that this morning, and I posted a link on my Facebook business page about dream visits, so you can check that out and see for yourself what it says. But it's cool, and she's had so many. And actually, the first dream I had with her was right before we left Europe, because I missed her funeral. I was there. It was her last wishes to like stick it out, just stay on the trip. We're gonna do another funeral in a few weeks down in Florida for her ashes, the ash internment. But the last night before we left Europe, I had a dream with her, and it was another old woman in a wheelchair, and I was telling her about my mom, and then I hugged the lady because I was just feeling compassionate or something, and then I pulled away from the hug, and all of a sudden it was my mom's face looking at me, and it was really nice. And I've had a couple other dreams. The one, probably the last one before this was like a month ago. I was really upset that I hadn't had a dream in a while. She was in the hallway at her house, in her chair, in her wheelchair, and I leaned down and hugged her and said, thank you for coming back into your bum body, for visiting me. Like, that sucks that you had to go in that bum body just to visit me, you know, kind of a thing. And I was hugging her and crying, and I knew I was crying. I heard myself again crying in the dream. And then when I woke up, I told my son about it, and he said, oh, I heard you were whimpering. So it made it even more real. Like, yeah, that was happening. So, but now she doesn't have to visit in her bum body. She was back in her like 80s self, and she's so cute and wonderful. And I love her. So, and I'm honoring her by saying this story about her. But that's all. So just rest assured that your loved ones are with you, and I'm happy to talk about this anytime. And that's all. So have a good day, and I will catch you later. Again, I'm Karen Foote, Westwood, New Jersey, Rebalance Reiki Massage. Okay, thanks. Bye.